Hello, welcome to my channel, Leah Decodes. The men women forget are the ones who beg to be chosen. The men women obsess over are the ones they could never fully reach. Let me tell you something. Most men are never taught because if you understood it too early, you would stop chasing approval and start commanding attention. Women don't obsess over kindness alone. They don't fixate on looks alone. And they don't lose sleep over men who make themselves completely predictable. Obsession is born in uncertainty, in emotional tension, in the quiet fear that a man cannot be fully controlled, fully decoded, or fully possessed. From a female psychological lens, obsession isn't about domination. It's about unresolved curiosity. A woman's mind latches onto what feels unfinished when a man is emotionally available but not emotionally dependent. When he offers warmth without surrendering his center, something powerful happens. Her brain stays engaged. Her emotions keep circling. She replays moments, rereads messages, analyzes tone, not because she's weak, but because her instincts are activated. Control feels safe, but safety doesn't create obsession. Familiarity soothes, but it doesn't haunt. When a woman senses she can't predict a man's reactions, can't dictate his mood, can't pull his attention on command, her subconscious starts working overtime. This isn't manipulation. This is wiring. The human mind is drawn to what resists ownership. Here's the part men often misunderstand. Being uncontrollable does not mean being cold, cruel, or emotionally absent. That's not strength. That's avoidance. True emotional gravity comes from self-possession. A man who knows his values, honors his boundaries, and doesn't abandon himself to keep someone interested sends a silent signal. I choose you, but I don't need you to complete me. That signal is intoxicating. Women are deeply attuned to emotional power dynamics, not in a calculating way, but in a visceral one. When a man's happiness doesn't rise and fall with her approval, she feels both challenged and intrigued. She senses that he has a life, a mission, an inner world that existed before her and will continue after her. That independence triggers respect, and respect is the soil obsession grows from. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how the men women can't stop talking about aren't always the ones who treated them perfectly, but the ones who made them feel something intense? Intensity doesn't come from chaos alone. It comes from contrast, from moments of connection paired with moments of space, from presence without pursuit, from desire without desperation. When a man over-explains, over-exts, over-gives, and over-accommodates, he removes mystery. He hands over control and calls it love. But the female psyche doesn't attach deeply to what is handed over freely. It bonds to what must be earned, respected, and approached with care. This is why women obsess over men they can't control. Not because those men are better, but because they are grounded. Because they don't bend their spine to avoid being alone. Because they don't trade their identity for validation. And on a primal level, that signals strength, safety, and depth. If you've ever wondered why being nice wasn't enough, this is why. Obsession isn't built on compliance. It's built on presence, boundaries, and the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is, whether or not anyone is watching. Here's the truth most men will never hear. A woman's obsession isn't about you being perfect. It's about you being unpredictable in the ways that matter. It's not about drama. It's about depth. When a man shows layers, strength mixed with vulnerability, focus mixed with spontaneity, he becomes a puzzle she can't stop trying to solve. And the more she tries, the more her mind rewinds moments, imagines possibilities, and debates what if. That mental loop, that's obsession taking root. Let's break down the psychology. A woman's brain is wired to notice patterns. She can read signals faster than most men think. When those signals are consistent, predictable, and fully controlled, her mind rests. She feels safe, sure, and emotionally satiated, but she doesn't chase. Obsession only sparks when there's a disconnect between her desire for connection and her inability to fully control the outcome. It's the push and pull, the tension of uncertainty that fuels those late night thoughts about you. But this isn't an excuse to play games or manipulate. A man who pretends to be hard to get, who feigns emotional distance, will eventually be seen as shallow or deceptive. The obsession that lasts is natural, grounded, and magnetic. It comes from living fully, being a man with hobbies, ambitions, and standards that don't bend for approval. Women sense that energy. They feel it before they consciously understand it. It's like gravity, subtle, irresistible, yet entirely real. Obsession grows when a man's life is rich, full, and centered. He doesn't orbit a woman's world. He has his own planets, his own fire. When she can't control his time, his attention, or his emotions, it awakens her desire to earn it, to experience it, to be part of it. That desire is far more potent than any compliments, gifts, or declarations of affection could ever create. It's primal. It's wired into human attraction for a reason older than conscious thought. Now, consider this. A man who bends at every whim, who agrees with everything, who sacrifices his comfort to appease a woman, creates predictability. And predictability is boring. It's safe. It's easy. It doesn't make her stay up thinking about him at night. It doesn't make her analyze every word he says. It doesn't plant the seeds of obsession. But when a man is confident, independent, and emotionally present without being dependent, he becomes a mystery she can't ignore. And that mystery ignites a fire in her mind that can't be switched off. Even the smallest details matter: how you respond to her texts, how you speak about your goals, how you handle conflict, how you hold your boundaries. Women notice these micro moments subconsciously. They're not tracking them logically. They're feeling them emotionally. Every time she senses strength paired with warmth, independence paired with attention, she gets a hit of intrigue, a rush that keeps her coming back mentally, replaying interactions, imagining future possibilities. Here's the key. Obsession isn't about control. It's about influence. It's about being a man whose life is rich, whose attention is earned, and whose presence commands respect. A woman's mind is drawn to energy she can't contain. That energy isn't arrogance. It isn't distance. It's mastery over oneself. Values, goals, emotions, all intact. That's what makes her think about you when she should be sleeping. That's what makes her linger over memories of you, wondering, imagining, longing. So if you've been chasing approval or trying to please endlessly, understand this. The man who obsesses is the man who doesn't chase, the man who keeps his world full, his mind sharp, and his boundaries intact. Obsession is a side effect of self-possession, not desperate attachment. And that truth, it's the one most women can't articulate, but their minds feel it over and over, long after you walk away. Now, let's get even deeper, because most men never understand the invisible threads that pull a woman's mind toward a man she can't control. It's not sex, it's not ego, it's not even love, at least not in the way most men think. It's anticipation, the thrill of the unknown. The subtle tension of emotional proximity paired with independence. When she feels she can't predict your reactions, can't claim your attention, or can't fully own your time. Her brain lights up in ways that mimic excitement, curiosity, and yes, even obsession. Think about this like a game. She didn't choose to play consciously. The female brain craves both security and stimulation. Predictable men deliver safety, but they don't create intrigue. Men who are emotionally balanced, who maintain their identity, who live life with purpose, deliver both. They offer moments of connection that are intense, meaningful, and deeply satisfying, but they don't sacrifice themselves in the process. That combination triggers emotional loops. It makes her replay moments, overanalyze your words, and imagine what it would feel like to truly have you. Here's where men make the biggest mistake, confusing attention with obsession. A woman might shower a man with interest when he gives her validation freely, but that doesn't create real emotional pull. True obsession grows when she senses she cannot fully predict, manipulate, or own him. Every act of self-possession, your silence when she texts too much, your consistency when she tests you, your commitment to your own life when she seeks to pull you in. These are the invisible magnets that keep her mind circling you. Women also obsess over men who hold space for them without losing themselves. They notice when you don't react to every slight, every mood swing, every attempt to control. That calm, confident detachment isn't cold. It's magnetic. It says without words, I am my own man. I can choose you, but I don't need you to complete me. That message is far stronger than any words you could speak. It bypasses logic and enters her emotional wiring directly, planting seeds of desire, curiosity, and yes, obsession. This is why boundaries are your secret weapon. Setting limits doesn't push her away, it pulls her closer. Maintaining your standards, refusing to overextend, and prioritizing your life over constant appeasement signals, strength, independence, and emotional stability. And paradoxically, the more you maintain that, the more she thinks about you, imagines the possibilities, and struggles with the idea of a world without your presence. That's struggle. That's the engine of obsession. Let me be clear. This isn't about manipulation or playing hard to get. It's about self-mastery. Women instinctively feel when a man is grounded in his values, consistent in his behavior, and committed to his life. That sense of stability combined with unpredictability in his responses. Small, subtle, meaningful unpredictability keeps her mind looping. She becomes invested, emotionally curious, and unable to stop analyzing interactions. That mental preoccupation is the purest form of obsession. Here's another layer most men miss. Emotional contrast. Moments of intensity followed by space. Vulnerability paired with strength. Affection paired with self-reliance. That push-pull is irresistible to the female brain. It mimics the patterns of attraction wired into human evolution. It's not conscious, but it is chemical. Obsession doesn't arise from submission. It arises from challenge, from intrigue, from a man who exists fully in himself and refuses to bend completely to someone else's desires. In short, women obsess over men who are unpredictable in ways that matter, grounded in themselves, and unattached to the outcome of their attention. That combination, emotional depth, independence, and subtle mystery, creates a gravitational pull. No amount of chasing, pleading, or overgiving can ever replicate. Obsession is a byproduct of presence, purpose, and self-possession, not control or conquest. Here's where most men fail and where the magnetic ones rise above. The men women obsess over aren't trying to win her attention. They're living life on their own terms. They have routines, goals, and ambitions that don't depend on approval. They aren't reactive. They are intentional, and women sense that immediately. It's a quiet authority, a self-contained energy that communicates, I exist fully with or without you. That energy is addictive because it's rare. Most men give themselves away, overextend, and make themselves predictable. But the ones who hold their ground become unforgettable. Now, let's talk about presence. Presence isn't just physical. It's emotional and psychological. A man who is fully present in conversation, fully engaged in moments of connection, yet fully independent outside of them, creates contrast. That contrast is what hooks a woman's mind. She experiences the warmth and the depth, but she also feels the distance, the boundaries, the autonomy. This dynamic sparks a feedback loop in her mind. She replays interactions, wonders about your thoughts, and imagines the next time she can access that presence. That loop, that is the engine of obsession. Here's the paradox. The more you respect yourself, the more she respects and even obsesses over you. When you refuse to bend for attention, when you maintain your boundaries, even when desire is high, it triggers a deep primal curiosity. She starts asking herself, why can't I have him? Why does he stay composed? What's he thinking? These questions aren't conscious. They are emotional circuits firing in her brain, and they pull her toward you, whether she admits it or not. Men also underestimate the power of selective vulnerability, sharing feelings, hopes, or moments of struggle, but only in measured doses, creates emotional intensity without dependency. It signals trust, depth, and authenticity. A woman can sense it. She feels privileged to witness it, yet she cannot fully predict it. That combination keeps her mind cycling between admiration, intrigue, and longing. Obsession thrives in that tension. Let's examine why overgiving destroys attraction. When a man gives too much attention, affection, or validation too quickly, he removes the challenge. He becomes predictable. The mind that thrives on curiosity stops working. The woman's subconscious realizes there is nothing to earn, nothing to wonder about. Obsession disappears. But when a man gives selectively, engages meaningfully, and keeps his priorities intact, he introduces scarcity, not as a tactic, but as a natural byproduct of self-possession. Scarcity mixed with quality connection. That's irresistible. Another layer is emotional stability. Men who swing with her moods, overreact, or chase her approval create volatility. That volatility is confusing, not magnetic. True obsession arises from a calm, grounded energy paired with unpredictability in the right places. She experiences safety, depth, and challenge all at once. It's a potent combination that no superficial charm, flattery, or gifts can replicate. Finally, remember this. Obsession isn't about you changing her mind, controlling her actions, or bending to her desires. It's about embodying a life, a presence, and an identity that she cannot ignore. She thinks about you, imagines the possibilities and struggles with absence because you are fully yourself, strong, independent, and emotionally intelligent. That's the magnetic truth. The men who master this do not chase. They exist. They are alive, purposeful, and consistent. And paradoxically, that very self-possession keeps women endlessly fascinated, emotionally invested, and deeply curious about what it would take to truly be with a man they can't control. Now we arrive at the final, often overlooked truth. Obsession is the byproduct of self-mastery. Women don't obsess over men who try to please them endlessly. They obsess over men who are fully present in their own lives. The men who command attention, respect, and curiosity are the ones who live on purpose. They invest in themselves, pursue their passions, and hold their emotional ground. That combination of independence and depth is irresistible, and it triggers an emotional pattern in women that feels almost magnetic. Think about the last man you couldn't stop thinking about. Chances are he wasn't perfect, but he had a way of holding himself that made you feel a mix of admiration and curiosity. Maybe he disappeared sometimes. Maybe he didn't give all his attention immediately. Maybe he kept his life full and interesting, independent of your presence. That dynamic, his emotional balance combined with autonomy, is what fueled your mental loop. That is exactly how women respond. That is how obsession is born. Here's a key distinction that most men miss. Emotional intensity is not created by chasing, by texting nonstop, or by bending over backward to satisfy her every whim. Intensity is created by contrast, by showing her depth without dependency, engagement without neediness, and presence without desperation. Women instinctively recognize when a man is grounded in his values and priorities. That recognition sparks admiration. Admiration transforms into curiosity. Curiosity fuels mental replay, and mental replay turns into obsession. Let's be crystal clear. The men women obsess over are not manipulative, cold, or cruel. They are self-possessed. They don't need to manufacture intrigue because they live full lives. They have purpose, and they hold themselves with quiet authority. They don't chase outcomes. They maintain boundaries. They honor their own time. And paradoxically, it is this exact freedom that draws women in. A woman's mind cannot resist what is unattainable, yet meaningful. She wants connection, but she also wants challenge. And the man who offers both naturally without contrivance becomes unforgettable. Small behaviors matter more than you realize. The way you maintain composure when tested, the way you respond selectively to messages, the way you share moments of vulnerability in measured doses. These are not tactics. They are reflections of inner strength. When a man embodies this consistently, women can't help but notice. They replay interactions in their mind, wondering, imagining, and longing. The emotional pull is automatic. It's not forced, it's earned. Remember this: obsession is not about control, it's about influence. It's about embodying the qualities that a woman cannot predict, cannot dominate, and cannot replicate herself. Independence paired with connection, strength paired with vulnerability, presence paired with mystery. That combination is rare and it is magnetic. When you live this way, you stop chasing, and instead women start thinking about you even when you're not around. So here's the challenge for you. Take inventory of your life. Are you living fully? Are you grounded in your values? Are you emotionally self-contained yet open? Are you creating moments that she can't ignore but can't own? Obsession is a side effect of self-possession, not desperation. Personal challenge. Multiply the number of boundaries you've set in your life by the number of passions you actively pursue. Comment the answer below. Be honest and tell me what that number says about your presence. Like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear